Welcome to Tennis Spin, where we put our spin on your tennis. Today, I'm going to be talking about this string right here. The Dunlop Explosive Red. R-E-D, red, red, red. All right, stay tuned. So we strung the 3 rackets and it kind of felt like Hyper G, the way it's strung. Kind of a little soft, a little, not springy, but soft springy. It's kind of hard to describe. It doesn't have an ALU texture or a stretch for sure. It's got kind of a softer stretch to it, if you know what I'm talking about. It doesn't have a hard polyester type of a feel, even though it's polyester. So my guess is that this is going to be a soft playing string. It felt familiar. I can't pinpoint it except for like a Solinco Hyper G. Looking at the packaging, it actually says it gives it a 9 in power, right? A 7 in control, a 7 in spin, and a 9 in durability. So the 9 in durability is the thing that kind of intrigues me, because usually when you have a powerful string, it's on the softer side, and those aren't usually that durable. So, I mean, the spin and the, well, that's actually comfort. I'm sorry, that's comfort. 7 in the comfort zone is interesting to me too. So usually a powerful string isn't durable, but let's see what we get. Okay, so I'm gonna go out right now with my man Coach Andrew Gu and my man Coach Chris Chien. Right now, my man. Stay tuned. All right, guys, so I'm on the court now with my man Coach Gu and my man Coach Chris, and we all got our rackets strung with the new Dunlop Explosive Red in the 16 gauge, okay? We strung Gu's at what he usually does at 57, Coach Chris at 52, and we did mine at my 48, as you guys know. All right, so we're gonna test it out and let you know. Stay tuned. All right, so we just got off the court testing out this Dunlop Explosive Red. Coach Andrew, what did you think?
Overall, I think it's a pretty good string. Reminds me of the Hyper G Softs for sure. If you guys know about Solinco, it has a little muted feel, which is interesting. Hyper G Soft has more feel, or you get to feel the liveliness of it. This one actually muted a few of my forehands and backhands when I noticed. But overall, I mean, great power, it has good control. Just the feeling of the ball is somewhat muted. I don't know how, but it just feel like on contact when I started hitting through, I couldn't really feel the ball as much. Knowing my 95, you can feel almost every single shot on the ball. This one, with this string, it's actually muted quite a bit, which is interesting to me. But overall, the lack of feel, or the lack of like kind of that muted feel, the muted feel in general, I mean, this is still a pretty solid string overall.
So Coach, what did you think of the power in this string?
It has quite a bit of power, surprisingly. Yeah, I mean, it reminds me of the Speed, the Dunlop Speed.
The Dunlop Speed.
It has that power.
I think it was a little softer than that Speed though.
Yeah, this is definitely softer than the Speed, but like the power reminds me of the Speed for sure.
Right.
This is just completely different. This is like if you have tennis elbow, or if you just have like really sensitive arms. This is actually like the Speed's soft, basically, in my opinion.
Right.
So
I kind of had the same feeling.
So like this is actually like a good string if you want a little more softer from the Speed. This is perfect.
Right, perfect. Coach Chris, what did you think of this string?
So this string felt really muted at first, but then as I kept hitting with it, it reminded me definitely of Hyper G Soft in terms of its softness, but it didn't have that pop feeling that I was expecting. You know, even though it's in the name, that explosiveness, I felt like overall it was a little bit muted, and I felt a lot of more control with when I was hitting with the strings here. So just those are just my opinions on the string.
So did you feel the power from the string, Coach Chris?
Not too much. Like I said, it's the string as I was hitting it. It felt muted. I definitely felt a lot more control as I was hitting with this string, but not as much power as kind of the other Dunlop strings that we played with. So this is, I want to say, probably like the least amount of power from all of them.
Okay, so just to add something to that, we literally took Coach Chris's racket off the machine right before we hit with it, like literally like a pro that he is. Right, we literally took it right off the machine, so he might not like a fresh bed of strings too, and it was off of our machine, not his, so it might feel a little tight right now at the moment though, right?
Yeah,
so,
I agree. Maybe as I continue to play with it, it'll loosen up a little bit more. Then you can check in with me again later.
So I want to thank Coach Andrew for hanging out with me today. Where can we find you, Drew?
You can find me at agu.tennis. I'll also be posting that content there.
All right. I want to also thank my man, Coach Chris. Where can we find you, Coach Chris?
At Christopher Chien, Chien.
All right. And you guys know where to find me. I'll be back at the shop, and I'll be talking about this string and giving you my final review. All right, so we just got off the court playing with this explosive red. Okay, so Coach Andrew said Hyper G. Coach Chris said almost like a Hyper G2. So you guys know what Coach Chris uses in order to string that racket, that little box looking deal. So like I said, we freshly strung his racket on our machine. So it's probably a little tight for him. So he was kind of tight out there. So, but yeah, it's even in my opinion, it's like Hyper G. So this is kind of like Solinco Hyper G. It's nice and soft. It's very reactive. It provides a lot of spin and feel. And it's pretty powerful. Just like they say, it's pretty powerful. In terms of durability, we'll see. But it lasted the hour and a half that we tested it out. So, and it didn't really lose any tension, which is great. So I definitely do recommend it if, it's like what they were saying. It's a little muted. If you have arm problems, this is definitely a good poly for you to use because it's quiet. It doesn't vibrate. It doesn't resonate so much into your arm. So 100%, if you have arm problems and you want to use a poly or blend a poly with a synthetic, try this on the main. It's actually very, very soft. It's very, very muted. And I would say it's very arm friendly. Okay, so we definitely recommend it. Out of the Dunlop strings, we still love that speed more though, that explosive speed more. But this is a red string, and it was kind of cool to have a red string out there for all of us to try. We even tested it on that new Dunlop CX200 Tour 1820, in which we're gonna review real soon, as soon as they let me post a video. All right, so thank you for watching Tennis Spin, where we put our spin on your tennis.